than saying I do. Marriage is much deeper than standing up in front of a bunch of people putting on a show.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And you don't recognize the type of pressure, responsibility as a man that you're taking on, because now you have this man saying, here's my daughter. I've been taking care of making sure protecting her and making sure she's good. Now I want you to provide for her, make sure she's good. You know what I'm saying? And so now you really don't really grasp what that is at 32.
And see, and that's why it's so much duplicity going on, because the roles are reversed. Women have taken on the men roles, and men have taken on the women roles. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to it, women come from our red, and the red protects what? Your organs.
All day.
You know what I mean? So marriage, like I tell Doc and everyone else that's married, me personally, I think marriage is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? I think marriage takes you to that next level, as Meek would say. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to this shit. You understand what I'm saying? And when you have a strong woman next to you that's telling you, hey, baby, you can do whatever you put your mind to do, that ain't nothing but making your love tank get full.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Making you feel like, you know what? I can accomplish anything that I want to
It's funny you say that, because I was having a conversation with somebody and he was, grilling me on the whole marriage thing. I said, think about this. I said, the concept of marriage is truly much deeper than society puts it out there, or us understanding it via conversation. I said, but it's so deep that if you look at history, most of the great men, if not the majority of the great men who made the history books, almost every last one of them was married. Not one of them was single. Mm-hmm. You think that's coincidence? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like for every man to achieve a certain level of greatness, you need a greater woman.
Yeah, we were talking. I was listening to something the other day, and it was about incarceration and dudes that came out after doing long bids, and the ones that were successful, somebody whoever was talking about, they were running down a long list of the dudes that made it and the dudes that didn't, and the person that they were telling it to was analyzing it while they were talking. It was like, you know what, the one thing that I noticed about all the people you said that made it, that got out of prison, they was all married. And the dude hadn't even thought of it. He was like, you know what, you're right.
That's real.
He was like, all the dudes that made it, that came out, were married.
For me, a good woman gives a man a sense of peace. A good woman gives a man a sense of integrity, a sense of worthiness. Not that you're not worthless or you don't feel worthy, but there's a level of it when you have the right woman, your level of worthiness becomes greater, because now you feel like, I have to protect her, provide for her, and make sure she's good. And she's doing what she needs to do on that other end. And I don't care what nobody say. A woman stroking your ego is a beautiful thing. I was listening to your podcast when y'all was talking to the gentleman about that's the Adidas ambassador.
Sean, shout out to
right?
Sean.
And he made a comment about fashion, and I said, and I'm in the car like he said something about men spend more money about getting dressed. I'm like, no, men spend more money about getting dressed because we dress to get the women. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We dress to make sure. I don't come dressed because I want no dudes to be looking. I come dressed because I want the chick in the corner to be like, hey, who that dude?
There you from uptown.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You won't come like that anyway.
You know what I'm saying? but I think like there's a level to this that you want a woman that, what we do for women. And I feel like when you feel the right one, you feel like you can conquer the world. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you can really go and take over because she's telling you, babe, you can take the world over.
But the strange twist of irony I saw when you were talking about the marriage was, and shout out to my wife, my beautiful wife at home, Marie Josephine Cakes. But
my mother's name is Josephine.
Yeah, that's the name of my wife's business, Marie Josephine Cakes. Shout out to her. But one of the things I noticed, because I'm about to talk about another relationship, that's why I said talk. Okay. Shout out to her. So I was engaged before, right? Uh-huh. And rest in peace to my former fiance. But you were talking about your father-in-law a lot, and it reminded me of when I was in this relationship. How, and my mom used to bring this up to me. She would tell me that I might have been more into her father than I was into her because I was looking for a father. And it's funny, like, and shout out to Mr. Perry too. he was a real good who could have been my father-in-law, but you know we never got married. But he was a real good dude, and like I used to spend a lot of time around him, learning how to be a man. And I was 29, 30, you know what I'm saying, when I got engaged, and I think I might have valued him as much as I valued her. So when I was reading, you know, your narrative on your relationship with him, it kind of made me think of that, like you were learning through your father-in-law how to become a man.
Listen, first of all, shout out to Mr. Tommy Evans. He probably right now sitting in Richmond, Virginia, in his little chair, laid back, eating some popcorn. That's what he do, right? And it was weird because my mother-in-law will always say, "You remind me of your dad, of your father-in-law." And she used to say this all the time, and I never saw it. But he just exemplifies what a real man was and what a real man is. Like, he taught me so much, man, that it was just like, he said one thing to me one time. He said, listen, Rich, he said, I'm going to never interfere in your marriage to my daughter. He said, I will always respect what y'all do. He said, all I ask of you, man to man, is never put your hands on my daughter. And I said, well, Pop, I come from real stock. And we don't do that where I come from. That ain't where I come from. He said, I already know that, but I just wanted to say it to you. So, all right, cool, no problem.
Had to be said.
Had to be said. You know, one of them things. It just had to be said. But when I tell you this is a phenomenal man, black man, like, even when I wound up separating from my wife, I felt like I let him down. Mm-hmm. You know, I felt like I disappointed him to the point that I wasn't even man enough to go talk to him before I left. I regret, right? But I felt I disappointed him.
Right.
But he just, everything about him, man, his tenacity, his will to keep going, and to just, he hurt. He want to go clean out the but that generation was real dudes.
Yeah,
you know, he get out of surgery, and a week later he climbing the ladder trying to clean the ducts out. I'm like, Pop, what you doing? Like, get down. I do it. He like, oh, no, Pop, come down. I got it.
Yeah.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Cut the grass. You know, he let me cook on his grill. And my ex-wife was hyped. My mother-in-law, like, he don't never let nobody cook on. He must really like you. Like, it was like a big to-do thing. But for me now, looking back, I felt like him let me do that with saying, hey, I respect you. Right. I respect you as a man. That's why I want you to stand here with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And one of the biggest things he did that I'll never forget, that I feel really rare can you find this, is that I had a fallout with my ex-wife. And she went back and, you know how women are, and souped it all up with her mom and her sister. And while I was at work, they all came and cleaned all her stuff out her crib. And I come home, all they stuff going. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Whatever. So, you know, everything got cool. We got back. My wife came home. And so one day I go over there to drop something off. So my father-in-law pulls up. He hops out the truck. He said, come here, Rich, let me holler at you. I said, what's up, Pop? He said, I need to apologize to you. I'm like, for what? He said, because I told you that I would never interfere with what you have going on with my daughter as her husband, as long as you didn't put your hands on her. He said, you've kept up your end of the bargain. He said, but I did. I said, wow, what you saying, Pop? He said, because I was with them when they came and took the stuff out your house. He said, I shouldn't have disrespected your house like that. I had already had like this high level of respect for him, but when he did that, it was like,
right,
come on. Where you from? They don't make you no more. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I've done so much with him, man. He you know, I'm changing the brakes on my ex-wife's car, and he's sitting there with me with the tools. Like, we did a lot of bonding.
Right.
And it was like he looked at me as a son, not just a son-in-law. And I'll always respect and appreciate it for that. Like, if he called me today, dog, I would be on 95 to go to him, because that's my level of respect for him.
And it's crazy that you say that, because I think that when a lot of young black men are searching for some type of love from someone. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when they don't find that love from someone, they end up turning to the streets. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why it's so vital for fathers, father-in-laws, mentors, big brothers to be in these young black men's lives. Because once they turn to the left and they turn to the streets, I'm not going to say it's over, but it's harder for them to come back from the streets if they never would have got there from the beginning.
One of the things that I struggle with all the time is the fact that I think that there's a disconnect in our community of what mentorship is. And there's not a lot of mentors. There's not a lot of people that's willing to be mentors. Especially when I was in corporate America real heavy. When I was in corporate America working in the banking industry and stuff like that, I would see the white boys take the other white boys and they put them under their wing.
Right.
Nobody wanted to put me under their wing. And when they did, they thought I was too cocky or I was too aggressive. I'm like, no, I'm trying to get at what I need to get at. But they didn't see it that way. Like, let me nurture this young dude. And so that's why when I come in contact with young cats, I tell them like, man, if you need me, here's my number, call me. Like, we can rap. I'll try to do whatever I can do for you. Because I think if we start to mentor more, we can save more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the problem is, me and my wife were talking about this, about mentorship, is that, and my mentor, as a matter of fact, my wife and my mentor, shout out to my mentor, Waldo Johnson in Chicago, but we were on the phone, me and Waldo, and then I talked to my wife about this, and he was telling me that mentorship is not an exact science, right? So, like, you can mentor two people, and you can't use, you know, a one-size-fits-all strategy of mentoring. And then you also have to be real cognizant of, you know, what your goals may be